for you. I have got also Conference League tips, but unfortunately, I can't show them to you because I didn't have the time to create the quality graphics design that we all love. Maybe I can just show them to you like a text, I'll see what I do. So, anyways, let's get to our first 8 Europa League matches. We're starting with Arsenal versus Bodo Glimt. Glimt can strike against rotated gunners. Arsenal are likely to rotate for Thursday's Europa League Group A clash with Bodo Glimt, as it falls between the North London derby and the huge Premier League clash with Liverpool. Michael Arteta did much the same in Zurich as his side had enough to get all the 3 points, but the Norwegian champions are experienced European campaigners now and can hurt the Gunners on the counter-attack. Kjetil Knutsen's team have played away at Celtic, AZ, Roma twice, and PSV within the last 12 months and lost only one of those 5 matches. With pacey players like Ola Solbakken, Amahl, Pellegrino, and Joel Muoka in the ranks, Glimt can offer enough of a goal threat to make the almost even money about both teams to score look very attractive to me. So let's see now is landing regularly for both clubs. Both teams have scored in 5 of Arsenal's last 6 matches in all competitions and in all of Bodo Glimt's last 6 games too. There is a little difference when just European games are considered, with goal landing in 4 of the Gunners' last 6 European home games and in Glimt's last 3 European away games. A 2-1 Arsenal win is forecast here because although they won 4-1 at Lillestrøm last weekend, Glimt are not in their best moment of form right now, and that game was closer than the scoreline suggests. Arteta's team are riding high after their 3-1 demolition of Spurs and can use that momentum to get the 3 points. Rennes hold on top spot. Rennes currently sit top of the Group B in the Europa League. That thanks to a win and a draw from their opponent 2 games in the competition. Their French outfit have been impressive since the start of the campaign, winning 3 of their last 4 home fixtures and losing just one of their last 10 at all venues, picking up 5 wins in the process. They are also incredibly strong at Warzone Park in this competition, with Arsenal and Lazio among the teams to leave empty-handed during a run of 2 defeats in 18. Dynamo is struggling after football's return. Dynamo Kiev have struggled to find their feet after Ukrainian football's resumption, losing 6 of their last 8 matches. They sit bottom of the group with both fixtures against Fenerbahce and AEK Larnaca, editing in narrow defeats. Igor Jovicevic's side also have a worrying habit of considering the first goal, doing so in 7 of their last 9 fixtures. I predict that Rennes will win in the game with 2-1 to the host my correct score prediction. Union Berlin high stakes fixtures in the offering. This is the host's 4th appearance in the Europa League, but so far it hasn't been a good one. They have lost both of their opening matches in Group D, and it extends a poor run in which they have failed to win any of their last 10 games in the European competition, losing 9 times. They have only been beaten German opposition 3 times in their last 12 attempts, but what may give them hope is that each of those victories came on home soil. Union Berlin have somewhat stumbled the last couple of weeks after a glorious start to the new campaign. They have lost their opponent 2 matches in the group stages and suffered their first defeat of the new Bundesliga campaign as they went down 2-0 away to Eintracht Frankfurt. As Fischer will know how important this match is and he will be expecting a response. away win on the cards. There is no denying that the visitors have superior quality, and if they can get out of their slump, there is no reason that they cannot gain a crucial win here. We will lean towards the German outfit claiming the spoils. Lazio look to make up for earning humiliation. Lazio will be desperate to make amends for their unexpected 5-1 mauling at the hands of FC Midland when they face Sturm Graz in Europa League Group F on Thursday. Maurizio Sarri's men were humbled in hurling just prior to the international break, leaving them with 3 points after 2 games in a tight-looking section. The Italian coach has a fondness for the Europa League given it was the first major trophy he won as a coach, and he constantly put out strong sides in it during Lazio's run to the playoff round last season. Lazio started with Thierry Mobile, Pedro Felipe Anderson in attack against Midland, and it could be the same case again in Austria. Bianco Scaletti ran out of comfortable 4-0 win over Spezia last weekend and look in the great shape to follow that up with another win against the steady but unspectacular Sturm side. Goals in grass can be few of the ground. Die Schuazen are chasing Red Bull Salzburg at the top of the Bundesliga and, for the moment, are keeping it close. But they have a mixed record at home in this competition with many more defeats than wins over the last few years. Strom's domestic away form has been marginally better than their home form this term and goals have been on the lower side which has seen an average of exactly 2 per game. Despite almost 65% of the matches in the Europa League, this term seeing 3 goals or more. And under 2.5 goals, bet seem worth the risk for an odds against price here. Fewer than 3 have been scored in 4 of Strum's Graz's last 5 home games and also in 2 of Lazio's last 4 away games. A 2-0 Lazio win is preferred in correct score markets as Sarri's men have scored 6 goals in their last 3 away games combined and have kept 2 out of 4 clean sheets on the road this season. Europa League has Serif's focus. The hosts sit top of the Moldovan Superliga and they have managed to build a healthy margin between themselves and the second place. It means they are able to focus on this competition and they will look to return to winning ways after being defeated by Manchester United on matchday 2. They are at somewhat of a disadvantage though, with their European home matches being staged in Chisinau and they have struggled to win inside 90 minutes in the Europa League. The visitors, however, currently top Group E after they were victorious against Manchester United and Omonia Nicosia. They will look they will be looking to make it 3 straight victories to strengthen their grip on the top spot. They were involved in an 8-goal thriller at the weekend and showed their determination to beat Girona 5-3 and that kind of attitude will serve them well in this encounter. Spanish outfit to return home with another 3 points. We're expecting an interesting contest and whilst Serve will look to draw on that famous night when they beat Real Madrid, they haven't been playing with that the same tenacity and we will side with Real Sociedad to get their job done. The only way is up for Omonia. After losing their opponent 2 Europa League group stage games, Omonia remain rooted to the foot of the group and look set to repeat their bottom placed finish in their only prior European group stage appearance. The hosts have already shown their defensive frailties across the opening group games, conceding 5 times across 2 defeats against arguably lesser opposition than they will face in a Cristiano Ronaldo-inspired Manchester United. Omonia come into this on the back of consecutive league wins for the first time this season, although defeating run of the male Cypriotic sides pales in comparison to the challenge posed by a giant of world football, Manchester United. Revenge is on the cards for the Red Devils. After failing to an embarrassing 6-3 Derby Day defeat against Manchester City last time out, it's conceivable that Erik ten Hag will expect a resurgent performance this time around, and there is no better side to do that against than the perennial European whipping boys ammonia. Ronaldo has been used sparingly so far this season, but he has started both Europa League games so far. He will look to get on the score sheet in what is Manchester United's first ever UEFA trip to Cypriotic soil. The Red Devils travelled to Moldova for the first time in the last round and won 2-0, so we expect a similar outcome in this encounter. Such a result would mean that the main prediction lands a -1 handicap selection on Eric ten Hag's Red Devils. Manchester United kept 3 clean sheets from their last 4 away games, and we predict that they can go 4 from 5 with a convincing yet workmanlike victory over Money in this group stage affair. We're looking for a third win in a row. It's been an impressive season so far for Freiburg, who beat Karabakh 2-1 and Olympiacos 3-0 in their opening 2 Europa League group names games. Christian Street's side are actually undefeated in 8 matches in all competition, sit second in the Bundesliga and have kept 6 clean sheets in their last 10 outings. 2 of those shutouts have come on home soil, where they have won 3 of their last 4, while they have only lost twice in 8 fixtures at Europa Park Stadium in this competition. Nantes desperate trend about Tehran. While Freiburg sit top of Group G, Nantes are in third, picking up an opening day win over Olympiacos before suffering a 3-0 hammering at the hands of Karabakh. That is one of 2 games in the last 3 where the French outfit have failed to score. They are also yet to win away from home this season. Indeed, they have fired blanks in domestic games against Angels and PSG on the road during a run of 5 defeats and 2 draws from 7 games. I predict that Freiburg will win this game 2-0 with 2-0, my correct score prediction. Gunning for top spot. Roma have picked up a win and a defeat from their opponent 2 Europa League group games, seeing both teams score in their 2-1 loss to Ludogorets before beating Hajduk 3-0. Jose Mourinho's side have been unusual suspect at the back through the campaign, keeping just 1 clean sheet in their last 6 and seeing both teams score in the 3 of the last 5. They are strong at the other end though, netting in all but 2 of their 10 games, while they are unbeaten in 13 home European League outings, 7 of which have seen both teams net. Betis is hoping to return to form. Real Betis sit top of this Europa League group after winning their opening 2 games against HJK 2-0 and Ludogorets 3-2, meaning both teams have scored in 5 of their last 7 in this competition. Manuel Pellegrini's side have generally been in superb form since the start of the campaign, picking up 7 victories in 9 outings, but they did lose 1-0 to Celta Vigo at the weekend. That was the first time this season they were failed to score, with both teams netting 4 times as they've done in 2 of their 4 away fixtures this campaign. I predict that both teams will score in this game, but I struggle to separate the 2 sides with 1-1 my correct score prediction. Finally, you can see the exact scores I have predicted for today's match. move now on our other 8 matches. We are starting with Fenerbahce will look to retain top position in Group B when they take on AEK Larnaca at Stadium Ulker Stadumu. Fenerbahce showed the character in a 2-2 draw with Rennes, with the team coming from 2 goals behind to set the spoils with a League One outfit, and they are surely capable of making life difficult for AEK Larnaca on home soil. In comparison with the second group game, experienced forward Joshua King has joined Perez and Sangare in the recovery room. The Cypriots, on the other hand, proved their worth in a hand-fought 1-0 win over Dynamo Kiev. But keep in mind that the game was played on a neutral location. Fenerbahce are a real force to be reckoned with at home, and we predict that the Turks will emerge triumphant in Thursday's clash. There are no fresh injury worries in the away team ahead of the trip to Istanbul. So, all eyes will be on MC8's arena when Midland and Feyenoord face each other in the Group F derby. Midland quickly bounced back from a 1-0 loss to Strum, with the team rolling over Lazio 5-1 on home soil, and they must be high on spirits ahead of Thursday's clash. Junior Brumado is sidelined with a muscle injury, but he should be the only absentee in the home team. The Rotterdamers, on the other hand, aim to retain top position in the standings, and no doubt they should be happy with 1 point from the MCH Arena showdown. A close encounter is on the cards in Denmark, and we believe that punters from all around the globe can find value in betting on draw. It has to be noted that the two teams meet for the first time ever in European competition. There are no fresh injuries worries in the away team. Olympiacos play host to Karabakh at the Georgios Karaiskakis Stadium in the third round of the Europa League group stages. The Thrillers have been struggling in Group G, with the team losing to both Nantes and Freiburg, meaning that this has to go down as a must-win game for the home side. A man to watch in the home team will be former Villarreal striker Cedric Bakambu, who scored a brace in the triumph over Atromitos. Karabakh, on the other hand, produced a fine display in a 3-0 home win over Nantes. But seeing that they are not regarded as good travelers, we are attempting to put our money on Jose Miguel Gonzalez's troops. Olympiacos' backline should have Ghana forwards Owuzu at bay. It has to be noted that the two teams have never met before in European competition. Following a heavy 4-1 loss to Porto, Braga will look to get back on course when they face Royal Union in the Europa League Round 3. The Reds aim to keep their 100% record in Group D intact, but they will have to prove their worth on the field. All Gomez, Jallo, and Ruiz are pushing for recalls to the starting 11, but Arthur George has no fresh injury worries. The Belgians, on the other hand, proved their worth in back-to-back wins over Union Berlin and Malmo, but beating Braga and Portugal is easier said than done, considering that the Reds have been impressive at home ground this season. We don't believe that the visitors are capable of grabbing something from the match. Both Eskert Ayensa and Matsuda missed Royal Union's 3-0 win at Lyon, and the duo is unlikely to feature against Braga. Legigrund Stadium will host Thursday's Europa League game between Zurich and PSV. The Swiss outfit do not seem to be competitive at this level, with the team losing both Arsenal and Bodo in the first two groups games, and the result the bookies see them as underdogs in this class. Defender Ilian Schotter continues to miss out with injury for the hosts. PSV, on the other hand, aim to bounce back from a shocking Eredivisie loss to Cambu 0-3, and it seems as if they will not have a better chance than this to get back on course. Both Savio and Vertessen are putting for recalls to their starting 11, while De Jong, Madueke, Van Zinkel, Fofana, and Boscagli remain on the sidelines with injury. It has to be noted that the two teams meet for the first time ever in the competition. Second position in Group H will be at stake when Monaco and Trabzonspor face each other at Stade Louis double on Thursday evening. Monaco kicked off their Europa League campaign with a hard-fought and somewhat undeserved victory over Crvena Zvezda, but they failed to impress in a shocking loss to Ferencvaros. The League One outfit aimed to get back on course as soon as possible, and we are positive that they will adopt an attacking-minded approach against Trabzon. A man to watch in the home team will be Wissam Ben Yedder, who scored a hat-trick in 4-1 over Nantes, while both Aguilar and Jebis should miss out with injuries. The Turks proved their worth in a 2-1 win over Crvena Zvezda, but they will have a mountain to climb in the Stade Louis double showdown. Given Monaco's display in the cruising of Nantes, home win should definitely be considered. Olviska, Tokos, Perez, and Eisen are likely to miss out with injuries for the away side. Following a 3-2 loss at Real Betis, Ludogorets will look to get back on course in Group C when they face Helsinki at Bolt Arena. The Bulgarian champions suffered a dip in form in the national championship, with the team sharing the spoils with Arda, while losing to Lokomotiv Sofia, meaning that they could be low on spirit ahead of the trip to Finland. The good news for the visitors is that Pedro Henrique has overcome his injury while Gonçalves remains in the recovery room. Helsinki, on the other hand, are stuck at the bottom with 0 points in the pockets. The hosts are eager to give fans something to cheer about, but given their difficulties in front of goal 0-5, home triumph should not be considered. Taking everything into account, both sides should be happy with 1 point from Thursday's clash. Defender Miro Tenho is bound for the home side. Last but not least, Crvena Zvezda will be aiming record the first win in Group H when they take Ferencvaros in Belgrade on Thursday evening. Falling back-to-back losers to Monaco and Trabzonspor, the Serbian champions a must-win situation this time out, and they are likely to go all guns blazing at the Hungarians. The good news for the host is that the key midfielder Mikro Ivanic is back after recovering from his injury, but Zambia international kings Kangwa misses out through suspension. Ferencvaros, on the other hand, are surprising Group H leaders, with the teams beating both Trabzonspor and Monaco in the process. However, home wins should be considered as Zvezda head coach Milojevic can count on Ivanovic for Thursday's showdown. To make things even worse for the Group H leaders, Stadion Ratko Mitic will be packed with DLG. Bosnia international Elda Civic is back from suspension for the visiting side. Now you can have a look on the exact scores that I'm expecting to see. This was Daily Bets. Stay tuned for the results and for tomorrow's tips. Thank you. Have a nice, great bet day.